Thank you very much, my ardent viewer, for being here again for our channel. The channel is Alfonso the Rothschild Tutorials. Alfonso the Rothschild Tutorials is a channel dedicated to helping all those, like all of us, who want to have a better grasp of the English language as a tool for spoken communication, written communication, and reading communication, to have a better grasp in this all-important subject. The English language today is one of the world's foremost international language, used for business transactions, used for diplomatic activities, used for the outreach of information of various kinds. First and foremost, however, we are currently dedicating our videos to helping our IELTS prospects do better in the various aspects of this groundbreaking examination. IELTS means International English Language Test System, in case you are joining this channel for the first time. It is an examination which tests the proficiency of international students who want to further their education or run higher programs in universities in the UK and the entire British Commonwealth, in the United States, in New Zealand, in Australia, in Canada, and some other universities in Europe. For the beginning, we have for some time now focused our attention on helping our IELTS hopefuls have a better understanding on how to tackle tasks and challenges that face them in the writing aspects of the IELTS examination. Our first part of the discussion is on the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, which often presents graphics, sometimes on economic models, and on the various other kinds of challenges that we face in life. And the candidate is expected to analyze the graphics, extract the main features, and then write an intro, write an overview, and then present the analytical paragraphs or detailed paragraphs, usually 2 detailed paragraphs. We have had a string of videos on IELTS Academic Writing 1. So I would advise you, if you are a newcomer to this channel, to go back a bit and take a look at the videos of lessons that we had on these aspects of IELTS. With our discussion today, really, we'll be closing conversation on the IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. In our last video, we talked about map reading and reporting an IELTS map. Today, we are discussing IELTS process diagram, reporting. So what we're about to do is to write a process diagram essay, an IELTS process diagram essay. There's an essay that focuses on reporting a process. It is important that I help us to understand a little of what we mean by a process diagram before we go on. Now, the process diagram presents a graphic or a number of graphics like the ones we have on the board. The process may be about a nature cycle or a life cycle. It may also be about the process of production of a given commodity or product, involving the extraction or sourcing of raw materials, the transformation of these raw materials into finished products, and then the delivery or supply of the finished products to the market where the final consumer can have access to them. Whichever one that is applied, the process of tackling this problem is the same. First of all, there is a description of the graphics, which the student needs to understand first. After studying the graphics, you write your intro. Of course, to study the graphics and analyze the graphics, you need first of all to be able to extract the main features from the graphics. Extract the main features. After extracting the main features, then write your intro or introduction. The introduction is usually a paraphrase of the description of the graphics, which tells you ab initio what the graphics is all about. For instance, the description of these graphics, which we'll present later on, says very simply that the diagrams below illustrate the process of combining limestone and clay to produce cement using a number of equipment, and how the cement produced combines with a number of other materials to produce concrete, which is used for building projects of various kinds. Now, after such an intro, the next step, the second one, which is your second paragraph, is to write your overview. In this case, the overview is expected to summarize the main issues, the main steps involved in the process you are analyzing. After that, you have 2 more paragraphs to write. Ideally, you are expected to write 4 paragraphs. The first of the 2 last paragraphs, actually the third paragraph, you call it first main feature. You discuss the first process. In this case, there are 2 processes. You discuss the first process, and in the second main ideas, you discuss the second process, and then the writing will be over. A problem is an area of error, a recurrent area of error among IELTS students is that of over-paraphrasing or poor paraphrasing. You don't over-paraphrase. What do I mean by paraphrasing? To try to replace the words in the description of the graphics with your own words. That is acceptable. But sometimes some candidates take it to the extreme. They make the choice of words in such a way that sometimes they begin to depart from the main focus of the graphics they are describing. There is nothing wrong in repeating the words used in the description of the graphics. If you are not sure whether the new word you want to introduce is a suitable replacement, a suitable substitute for the one in the description, then take the word in the description. Then the other is that this report writing has a word count of 150 words. But you are allowed to write up to 170. In fact, aim at writing 170 or 190. That way you are able to give all the details necessary. But you'll be penalized. You lose marks if you carry it on to 210 or thereabouts, because that will imply that you've got lost in details. You no longer know where to draw the line. You are carried away by the details that you are given. And most of the times, such details are quite out of point. They are unnecessary and have gone beyond the boundary, beyond the framework of what you're expected to present. So these are some of the cautions that you need to observe as a writer in the IELTS examination. Now to the graphics on the board. Process diagram, IELTS process diagram. There are two diagrams, as you can see. This is the first, this is the second. The first diagram is on cement production. The second is on concrete production. The first diagram takes a look at how limestone and clay combine to produce cement, and how cement combines with other raw materials, including water, gravel, and sand, to produce concrete. Let us take a good look at the diagram. The first one. You can see the arrow indicating that clay and limestone from the left flank are being poured into an equipment called crusher. There are two funnels of the crusher. The crusher mixes or crushes the limestone and clay to produce the powder that you see here. The powder is poured into a mixer. That's the second stage. It's poured into a mixer. The mixer, in turn, empties the powder into another equipment called rotating heater. The rotating heater has constant heat applied to it at the end of it. That's at the end of the tube, there is constant heat applied to the mixture. So the mixer mixes the cement and the clay powder thoroughly, emptying it into the rotating heater, where much heat is applied to the mixture, which is then emptied onto a grinder. The grinder grinds the cement and grinds the clay and the limestone thoroughly until they are thoroughly mixed, and the end product is cement. The process ends with the bagging of the cement. These are cement bags. The product is now ready for delivery to the suppliers in the market. That's our first graphics or diagram. Then to the second one. The second diagram is on how cement, having been produced, combines with water, with gravel, with sand, and the end product is the mixer, is the concrete. We can see that while the production of cement passes through up to 4 stages, from the crusher to the mixer, to the rotating heater, and to the grinder, and then we get cement, with at least 4 equipments involved. The production of concrete, however, involves only the concrete mixer, a single equipment, and is therefore simpler when compared to the production of cement. It is noteworthy that gravel has the largest proportion, or is the largest proportion of the raw materials required for the production of concrete. Concrete is therefore 50% gravel. Gravel means small stones. The 50% gravel is combined with 15% cement, 25% sand, and 10% water. You can see the cement bag emptying cement into the mixer, while this cement has 10% water added to it, 25% sand, and 50% gravel. The concrete mixer mixes all these raw materials, and the result is concrete. The process, the two processes have been described. Our next task is to put this into writing. Our board is not spacious enough, so as we do the IELTS process diagram essay, as we do the writing, we have to wipe off a part of the graphics, one part of the graphics first, and then the other. But first of all, I would like to step aside for a few seconds so that you can take a closer look at the diagrams. Alternatively, you can pause the video to take a closer look at it while I return to do the writing. And so here we are again. We'll begin our writing. So this is the intro, our intro. This intro is our paraphrasing of the description of the two graphics that we are studying. It says, the diagrams below illustrate the steps involved in the manufacture of cement and how cement, having been produced, combines with a number of other raw materials to produce concrete used for building construction. Now, we are at the position to write the overview. So we can start. The second paragraph is overview. It says, overall, cement production passes through 4 stages and utilizes more equipment compared to the production of concrete, which involves only the use of a concrete mixer in a single stage production process. Now we turn to the third paragraph, where we now give details. You can call the next paragraph, the third one, the first detail paragraph, or the first main feature paragraph. Let us start. it is interesting that we take cognizance of the way this paragraph is developed vis-a-vis the two previous paragraphs. Take a look from the beginning. It says the diagrams below illustrate. The verb illustrate should be underlined. Illustrate the process of cement production and how, having been produced, cement combines. Again, the verb combines is to be underlined. Cement combines with a number of other raw materials to produce concrete. The verb produce is to be underlined. The verbs illustrate and combines and produce have been underlined. These verbs are in the simple present tense. A process is a description of a recurrent activity, a recurrent action, a recurrent event. A process does not end after a single performance of the action. It keeps repeating itself. Some bags of cement are produced, more are produced, more are produced, more are produced, following the same process. So the verb is always in the simple present tense. So the IELTS examiner is also testing your ability to be able to report events in the simple present tense. So it is an area of focus, an area where, as an IELTS hopeful, you should work on yourself. Now take a look at the third paragraph and the verbs I'm going to underline. It says the production of cement involves pouring clay and limestone into a crusher, which reduces them to powder. The powder in turn is emptied into a mixer, which blends it thoroughly, discharging it into a rotating heater, at the end of which constant heat is applied. The end product is cement after the mixture has been ground exceedingly well by a grinder. The cement is now bagged for distribution. Now you can see the verbs that I've underlined in the paragraph. Each verb is in the present tense, in one of the present tenses. So this is the way a process is to be reported. But we haven't concluded. We now need to go into the fourth and last paragraph, where we report the second main feature. And so that's our final paragraph, the final paragraph of today's analysis on IELTS process diagram essay or IELTS process diagram report. It says on its part, gravel, which means small stones, accounts for 50% of the raw materials required for concrete production. Gravel combines with 25% sand, 15% cement, and 10% water to produce concrete. These items are poured into a concrete mixer which blends them, and the result is cement. Once again, take a look at the verbs. Accounts, combines, are poured, blends, and is. All verbs in the simple present tenses. So a process is reported using the simple present tenses. So it is necessary that to be able to write, speak, and read English proficiently, do this like a pro. You need a thorough understanding of English tenses. Do you like our channel? If you do, then give a thumbs up to this video. Like this video and subscribe to our channel so that we can give you more of these kind of videos. But if you do not like our channel, please leave a comment on the comment section. Tell us what we can do to improve the channel so that you can better like it and tell your friends about us. Thank you very much for being a part of today's video. In our next video, we'll be focusing our attention on IELTS Writing Task 1. IELTS Writing Task 1 is for IELTS general students, and it involves letter writing of all kinds. See then.